Do you think women are too picky for their own good nowadays? Yes, no?
Are women too picky now?
Are women too picky for their own choice with all the paradox of choice?
Yeah, that's the whole reason why women are picky, because they have this illusion of choice that there's something better.
What about you? Do you think women are too picky for their own good?
Some women.
Okay. What would, if you had to what percentage would you say? Half, less than half, majority?
Where, in Miami? Like in this kind of
Let's say in general in the West.
I don't like to speak on things that I just feel. I like to really have some type of data. If you just want to go by my anecdotal experience, most of the women I know aren't too picky, or they're looking for the right things. They're looking for people who share their values, who they get along with, compatibility, chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what the general percentage is, and I don't get my data from chats and comments.
Fantastic. What about you?
Yes. They're picky.
You're too picky for their own good, you think? Okay. What about you?
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're picky. Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Women from my circle are picky,
Uh-huh.
but again, I can't speak about everybody else.
But do you think it's too picky for their own good to find a guy?
Some are. Perhaps some put some boundaries or unachievable standards also.
Okay.
And I'm not talking here about like lowering your standards, but some women I know put unachievable standards and they're single at 42.
Wow.
Like never had marriage or relationship, which not to say it's a bad thing or anything.
It is.
Yeah, I guess.
We'll say it for you. It is a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. If a woman's 42 years old and she's still single and unmarried, I think she's a failure in life. But that's me. And I think most people would probably agree with that to some degree, because a woman's value is not determined by how much money she earns and her status. Do you have a family? Do you have children? Or did you build a legacy to some degree? You know, no one gives a fuck about how much money a woman makes or her entrepreneurial ventures or her degrees or her education. Most men don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
What about you? You think women are too picky for their own choice?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, for their own good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I thought you were going to add something else to it.
No, I was, and then it
Okay.
went away.
What about you?
Yes, I think it's good to have standards, but she said the unachievable ones, where if you're getting up there, you're 28, you're 30, and you've never had a boyfriend, you've never been in a serious relationship, you might need to lower your standards a tiny bit.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I would say definitely for sure.
Okay. I'm going to give my stance on this, and I'll see I'll open it up for discussion. I think most women are too picky for their own good. I think most women don't qualify for the men that they think that they qualify for. Mm-hmm. I think most women are stupid, fat, obnoxious, and hoes, and they don't qualify for the man that they think they deserve. Most girls want a guy that's over 6 feet tall, attractive, in good shape, makes a lot of money, successful, charismatic, charming, funny, witty, nerdy at the same time, all these things. But what the hell do they bring to the table? Maybe a bunch of college debt, maybe a degree here or there, a slut, promiscuous past, and they want a guy that's in the top 1%. And I just find it funny because most women don't even deserve a guy that's average, but they want a guy that's superior in every way. So I think more women need to live in reality and understand that the choice that you have is sexual options. Are any of these guys going to get down on one knee and marry you? And I would argue for most women, it's a no, because they don't bring the things that men typically want, which is being attractive, not being fat, not being argumentative, not being annoying, not being an embarrassment, not having a shitty past. Like, men value these things, even though girls tend to sit there and say, no, they don't. Guys are totally okay with doing this and that. It's like, no, most guys have a point of contention with girls that are hoes. That's just how it is. No matter what women want to say, men are going to have issues with it.
Do you think culture plays a role? Because you were saying earlier, like in Sweden, they don't seem to care. They don't all want a virgin in Sweden. So doesn't culture play a role in this? And isn't it not true that most men, most places do feel that way? It depends where.
Sweden when it's younger, but eventually when dudes grow up, they want somebody they could have kids with in every country.
And what in Sweden is a woman, like to the Swedes or the Swedish men, what's a woman who's good for that, for having kids within a family?
Are they looking for virgins?
No, not Sweden doesn't look for virgins the same. But what I'm saying is, look.
They don't want hoes.
The technical, if you want to be very scientific, the word is exploitative. No human likes an exploitative person. An exploitative person, it's called WTRs, welfare trade-off ratios. We all had a friend where you give more than your friend and your friend takes more, and it's unfair. I used to have a friend, every fucking time we go to a restaurant, he was rich. He would time it so he'd go to the bathroom whenever the bill would come out. It's all dudes who had money. We'd all pay. This motherfucker did this so many times. I was like, but that was showing his subconscious he was an exploitative person. So I cut that guy out of my life. He was a guy, by the way, that said he inherited $10 billion from his Middle Eastern dad. I told my friend, this guy's bullshit. Every time, and I remember we went to a club. It's a club across from Sushi in Hollywood. And I said, we're gonna get a big table. I'm gonna pay this bill. If this guy doesn't fucking offer, he's full of shit. He ain't no prince. Not only did he not pay, but when we left, he asked me to order him an Uber because he said he got kicked off Uber.
Yeah.
I said, bitch, this guy doesn't have Uber money.
Wow.
So that's an example of exploitative friend. He sneaks his way into your life and you give a lot and he doesn't give equal. That's WTRs. So I think any man in any country, I can only speak to the male experience, but I'm sure a woman would be the same. When you start talking about kids are, look, marriage is man-made. Kids are forever. You're going to be somewhat attached to whoever you have kids with, even if you're not married, till the day you die, because it's healthy for kids. You don't want to be fighting all the time. So a man, as a man perspective, men are looking for clues. Is that woman exploitative? Is she going to take more than she gives? Am I going to get in there, have kids with her, and then she's going to do something and be out the back door? So I think there's no culture where people aren't sensitive to that.